Dino Crisis is a survival horror game published by Capcom in 1999. The game was developed by the team behind Resident Evil and was therefore seen as Resident Evil's spiritual successor. It was directed and produced by Shinji Mikami, the mastermind behind the Resident Evil series. Just as George A. Romero influenced Mikami's desire to make a zombie game, Jurassic Park and Aliens inspired him to move towards Dino Crisis. Interestingly, the game was not advertised as a survival horror. Instead, it was marketed as being a panic horror. Perhaps those that have played the game can understand why that is. Unlike Resident Evil, Dino Crisis utilises an original 3D engine and real-time environments. This is the complete opposite to Resident Evil's pre-rendered backgrounds. This did mean that the development team struggled with the graphical limitations at the time, even having to remove jungle areas from the game. Mikami wanted the game to be claustrophobic, just as Resident Evil was, and so it was decided that the game would use tight corridors, as well as utilising other horror elements such as sound and lighting to build tension. Due to the limitations at the time, Mikami's original vision was never seen. He wanted the dinosaur AI to be much more advanced, with each dinosaur having its own individual personality that could learn and understand the player and set up ambushes. Despite all of these limitations, Dino Crisis was released in July 1999. It received positive reviews, with many calling it Resident Evil with dinosaurs. The game was praised for its action, soundtrack, graphics, intensity, and its use of a real-time engine. Dino Crisis was a commercial success, selling 300,000 copies in Japan alone in its opening week. The PlayStation version of the game alone sold 2.4 million copies, making it a platinum title for Capcom. It is clear to see that Dino Crisis really was ahead of its time, and I personally believe it is one of the best survival horror games, despite the neglect it seems to receive today, especially from Capcom. So are you ready to step into the world of Jurassic horror? We begin this story with a mission brief.
The second report from Military Experiment Facility. Agent name, Tom.
I've successfully infiltrated under the guise of a researcher as planned. I have encountered no information regarding top-secret development of new type weapons, but I have discovered there is an unexpected individual at this facility. The man is Dr. Kirk, the leading authority of our nation's energy research. Dr. Kirk was alleged to have died in an accident during the course of an experiment 3 years ago. The reports were premature, and it appears that he is currently working as the head of a non-weapon project at this facility. The experiment is in the late stages of development. Regarding the staged accidental death, it appears that this country is somehow involved, recommending that necessary actions be taken immediately.
Refer to the data on Dr. Kirk.
The team have been sent to retrieve Dr. Kirk, who is believed to be dead. The secret Operation Raid team make their way towards Ibis Island.
Approaching drop zone.
Feels like we've got a little turbulence.
Once you hit the ground, head straight to the designated convergence point. Got it?
sorry I'm late.
It's time. Let's move out.
What about Cooper?
Forget him. Time's up.
It seems that one of their team hasn't made it to the rendezvous point. They decide to go on without him.
Okay, let's do this. I'll infiltrate the facility and occupy the control room on the first floor. I should have access to all the security systems from there. I'll contact you as soon as I've cleared the room.
Regina begins exploring the facility. The team are already on edge. There seems to be no one around. No guards, no scientists, no one. Regina can't help but feel as if something has happened here. Regina makes her way around, hoping to find some answers. As she does, she finds Gale.
Let me guess. This is some of your handiwork, right?
The brass is still warm. These guards were shooting at something very recently.
So who were they fighting?
This wasn't much of a fight. I don't think these guards hit anything before getting sliced and diced. Whatever they were shooting at came in through there, and ripped right through the steel fence.
Well, the hole is nice and clean. But I still say you could have done this.
Very funny. We still need to figure out what happened here. Continue to sweep the area.
Although Regina jokes around, she is concerned by this. Who or what could have done this? She gets a deep feeling of concern. Something doesn't feel right. She continues to explore the area. Regina makes her way into the material storage room. In there she finds a key. This could be useful. As she leaves the room, Regina receives a call from Rick.
Rick here. I'm in. The place is deserted though. I have a very bad feeling about this.
How's the progress going with that security system?
I don't know what's been going on here, but it looks like all the power in this facility is being cut.
Same here.
As long as that's the situation, there's not a lot I can do. Why don't you see if you can gain access to the backup generators on the ground level?
I'm on it. What are you doing here?
I caught the last part of your conversation.
By the way, I found a key.
Hand it over. Let's head outside.
That is not good. The facility is seemingly abandoned. Something must have happened here. Or someone knew they were coming.
That's disgusting.
This guy's been eviscerated. Something tore his intestines straight out.
Look at those tooth marks. It had to be some sort of animal.
Okay, let's move on.
This is not good. What type of animal could have done this? Regina needs to be on guard. Despite her ever-growing concerns, she makes her way into the generator room where she gets the power back online. As Regina makes her way outside, she hears something.
Gale?
She heads outside to investigate. Regina runs for her life. After a tense few minutes, she makes it through the gate. It can jump over fences. Regina needs to keep running. She eventually makes it to another gate. Regina heads through it.
Good news! I got the control system back online. What's the situation over there?
It's Gale. I lost him.
So what's the bad news? Did you run into some guards?
You're not gonna believe this. He was attacked by some kind of dinosaur.
Now that's a good one. So, who was it? Arnie?
This isn't a joke, you idiot. We were just attacked by a big-ass lizard.
For real? What's going on over there? Alright, head over to the control room and we'll sort out this whole situation.
Luckily, there is no way to jump over this one. For now, at least, Regina is safe. She makes her way into the main building in order to find Rick. Regina makes her way through the hallway and into a vent. After making her way around, she leaves the vent and heads into the control room.
What's our status?
This security system is a snap for me. Real amateur stuff. So, what exactly happened to Gale? You said that he was attacked by a dinosaur?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I just hope he's still alive. Anyway, our first priority is to complete the mission.
What we ought to do is just call in the chopper and get off this death trap.
That's a great idea, but Cooper has the radio, and he's missing. Hey, what's with this monitor?
That's the security monitor for the underground area. The camera's offline.
So I take it that means power still hasn't been restored to the area.
Exactly. They must have that area wired to a different power system than the ground level.
We can investigate that area after we finished our sweep of the ground level.
Okay, then I'll take care of the shutters that are blocking the way. You work your way in, grab the dock, and then rendezvous back here.
Regina needs to sweep the rest of the building to see what she can find out. She makes her way into the management office. In there she finds a number of items, including a shotgun and a DDK disc. These discs will help her to open up new areas. With these new items in hand, Regina leaves the room and makes her way to the main entrance. Rick was right. This whole place is deserted. Where could everyone have gone? They couldn't all have been attacked by these dinosaurs. Regina continues to explore. She makes her way up the stairs. Up there, she needs to deal with a number of raptors. After fighting her way through them, she continues her search. While exploring, Regina finds a memo. On there is a code. She uses the code to open up a safe. She then makes her way into a locker room. In there, she finds a DDK disc. She now has what she needs to unlock the chief's office. She makes her way inside.
A survivor!
Are you from the rescue team?
Yes, I am. Do you know where I can find Dr. Kirk?
Kirk? That fool! What's he plotting now?
What are you talking about?
Here. Take this.
What's this for?
I don't know. Told me extremely vital.
Regina begins looking around the room to see what she can find. She comes across two medals. Beneath them are two compartments. She inserts two panels into the compartments. This opens up a hidden space that contains a key card. Regina fights for her life. The T-Rex attacks her a number of times. After a horrifying few minutes, she is able to fight it off. Regina knows this will not be the last time she encounters the T-Rex. She leaves the room and continues her search. While exploring, she finds a safe. In there is a key to the entrance. She uses the key and heads outside. It is here that Regina finds a DDK disc. Now that she has this new item, she heads back inside and makes her way to the door behind the stairs.
I've unlocked the shutters near the entrance. One more thing. I just caught a glimpse of something on the monitor that looked human. It should be somewhere near the front of the training room, so check there first.
Regina goes to investigate. She heads through the doors. She makes her way into the office and finds a memo. With that, she continues to make her way towards the lecture theatre. Regina needs to act quickly. She begins fighting her way through them. After a difficult fight, she deals with them both. Regina now knows that the raptors are able to communicate with each other. She will have to be careful. With the raptors dealt with, Regina makes her way into the lecture theatre. In there, she finds a key to the backup generator room B1.
Gale, you're still alive. Good timing.
What is it? Another lizard?
That's no lizard. It's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur?
Look, something's really wrong with this place. This whole mission has gone sour.
Hey, it's always eat or be eaten out in the battlefield, no matter who or what you're up against. Any word on the dock yet? I've got to hook up with Rick again. My radio's dead, and he's the only one who can fix it.
Regina has survived the attack thanks to Gale, who didn't die after all. He seems committed to continuing the mission, despite the dangers they have discovered. With the generator key, Regina makes her way to the backyard of the facility. She uses the key to open up a new area. Once she is inside, she grabs a battery. She places it into the power box and begins moving the batteries around to the correct places. As she does this, Rick gets in touch.
That you, Regina?
Yeah? So, do we have power yet?
We're in the green, thanks to you. Look, I need you to come back here. There's something I have to talk to you about.
With the power online, Regina makes her way back to Rick. As she makes her way through the hallway, she is attacked. Regina fights for her life to survive. She gets up and sprints to the vent access. After that terrifying experience, Regina finally makes it back to Rick.
What's the emergency?
Gale just told me he saw someone on the underground monitor.
It flashed by pretty quick, but I'm sure I saw something. Rick, open the shutter to the underground area. What is it?
It's a distress signal from one of our team members. It must be Cooper.
Yeah, or it might be Tom. He infiltrated this facility posing as one of the researchers. Can you pinpoint the signal?
It's coming from outside of the building, to the east of the rear entrance we came in from.
Look, we'll deal with it later. Our first priority is the survivor in the underground. It could be the doc.
What are you talking about? He's asking for our help. We don't leave our own behind.
And what if it's a trap? Would you want one of us to come and rescue you?
Don't bother. I'm willing to take that risk.
Remember our mission. We're not here to babysit.
That's your way of operating, not mine. All right. You have your access to the underground, Gale. So get moving. You handle your things your way, I'll handle my things my way.
That punk is really starting to get on my nerves. Regina, I'm heading out to investigate the underground.
Everything seems to be happening all at once. Regina has to make a choice. She decides to help Rick. After making her way through the claustrophobic corridors, Regina makes it to the large elevator. It seems that she will have to deal with more than just raptors. She does her best to avoid them, as she doesn't want to waste her ammunition on the pteranodons. She successfully does this and makes her way to the large elevator control room.
Tom!
They came out of nowhere. Didn't have a chance.
Tom, can you tell us what's going on here?
Kirk's insane. His experiments have nothing to do with energy development.
Tom!
Here, take this.
His wounds are pretty bad. We have to move him someplace safe immediately.
The team have finally found their inside man Tom. However, he's hurt. They will need to find a way to help him. Regina makes her way outside, making sure to once again avoid the pteranodon attacks. She then solves a puzzle in order to get the piping fixed. This helps get the generator running. With that done, Regina makes her way out to the passageway of the power room. Luckily for Regina, she has survived the attack and has been able to eliminate one of the pteranodons in the process. She activates the large elevator and makes her way back to Rick.
Finally, we have access to the elevator outside.
Good. Now we can head straight down to the underground. So you saw the beast, right?
Yeah. Pteranodon, wasn't it?
I meant you saw that it was a real dinosaur. It's unbelievable.
Didn't I tell you?
This is just like that movie. Regina. We have to hurry. Tom's not going to last much longer.
I'll clear a path by moving these containers. You just keep an eye on Tom.
Regina needs to get the containers moved. She heads up the ladder and gets to the crane controls. She then programs the crane to clear a path for them. After some trial and error, Regina is able to do it. She then heads back down to Rick.
Will do. Concentrate on the mission and leave the rest to me.
Right.
Oh yeah. If Gale gives you any more of his bull, be sure to beat him down for me, okay?
Now that the way is clear, Regina begins searching for the person Gale saw on the monitor. As she does, something happens.
Rick, watch out! Chew on this!
Regina is unaware by what has just happened. For now, she continues on with the task at hand. Regina continues to make her way through the basement area. Regina is lucky to have survived the attack. She continues on and makes her way to the medical hallway. Regina prepares herself. She quickly sprints past the dinosaurs and makes her way into the medical room.
Rick.
He's dead.
Hey, it's not your fault.
Yeah. I'll be in the control room.
Unfortunately, Tom is dead. He died trying to protect Rick. The team don't have time to mourn. They have to continue with the mission. Regina makes her way out of the room.
Regina, what's taking so long? We've got a job to finish.
We found Tom. He didn't make it.
That idiot.
How do things look over on your end?
I'm in the lab area. I know the doc's still hiding around here somewhere.
I can see an elevator from here. Maybe I can use that to go down from the first floor.
Regina needs to find a way to get to the elevator. She starts heading up the stairs to the control room hall. She continues on through and heads into the strategy room. In the room, she finds an FC device, which can be used to input the identification data of a new ID card. Regina knows this will be useful. She also finds a DDK disc. With these new items, Regina heads out of the room and makes her way over to the elevator hall. Once she is there, Regina uses the FC device to get a fingerprint data from a corpse. With this new data, Regina makes her way into the office room and accesses a computer. She uses it to create a new ID card. Now that Regina has this ID card, she is able to use the elevator. Regina fights for her life. After a terrifying few seconds, she deals with the raptor. After fighting her way through some more raptors, Regina makes it to the research meeting room. In there, she finds a DDK disc and a code. She heads out of the room and makes her way into the computer room. In there, she finds a screwdriver. Regina takes it as it may be useful later on. Regina then accesses a computer and uses it to release a lock. With the lock released, she heads back into the research meeting room. The door that was blocked is now open. She heads through it. This takes her to the gas experiment room. She notices that there is a survivor in there. In order to help them, Regina needs to shut the gas off, but in the correct order. If she gets this wrong, she could turn the gases toxic. First, she hits the red, then the green, and then the blue. After that, she hits the green, then the blue, and finally the red. This disperses all of the gas. Regina can now enter the room.
gonna be okay. What happened?
That fool.
Who are you talking about?
What are you planning, Kirk?
I'm here with the rescue team. Where is Dr. Kirk?
Here. This will give you access to his personal lab.
It is too late for him now. Before he died, he gave her an ID card. Regina runs for her life. She makes her way through the computer room and into the main hallway. After fighting her way through some more raptors, she eventually makes it to the library. Once Regina enters the room, she inserts the chip she was given and types in the code in order to overwrite the chip's data. She is now able to access a locker. In there, she finds a key and a memo. Regina now knows how to get to the secret lab. Luckily for her, she has both keys too. She makes her way back down to the computer room. Once there, she calls Gale for assistance.
Regina?
I finally made it to the entrance of the doctor's lab.
Good work.
The door looks like it needs 2 people working in tandem to unlock it.
Sit tight. I'll be right there.
So, what's our status?
Here, take this.
Ready? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
With the door to the secret lab now open, Regina heads inside, not knowing what she will find. Regina has turned off the blue orb, but she has no idea what it was. On the table, Regina notices the doctor's notes. She decides to read it. It seems that they were experimenting with something, and what emerged were giant creatures. This is very worrying. With this new information, Regina makes her way back into the computer room.
He's not here.
Why? This operation is taking way too long already.
Warning. The emergency system has been activated. Emergency lockdown in progress.
What's going on?
No. Kirk must have tripped off the security system. That fool.
What's your status, Regina? I'm reading an emergency lockdown in your section.
We're trapped inside here. Kirk must have triggered it off. We didn't touch anything.
Can you clear it?
I'll see what I can do.
What's wrong with this thing?
Cool it, Gale. We'll find a way out somehow.
Someone has initialized the lockdown procedure. The 2 of them need to find a way out. Regina uses the screwdriver to open up a panel. She needs to find a way to connect the circuits. After some thinking, Regina is able to do it.
Warning. The emergency lockdown has been bypassed. You have 10 minutes until this section is sealed off.
We'd better get moving. We've bypassed the door lock and we're on our way out.
That's great, but the entire underground area is crawling with dinosaurs. You'll never be able to make it through there.
Don't sweat it. I'll take them all out one by one if I have to.
Brilliant plan, fearless leader, but I have a better one. These readouts tell me there's an emergency escape hatch in the dock's private quarters. You should be able to make a clean break through there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, but there's one problem. The hatch is password locked through the mother system.
Forget it. If you can't crack the code before the dinosaurs rush in, we'll be completely trapped.
I know. You just have to trust me.
I don't.
Fine. What about you, Regina?
Make your choice.
Regina needs to make a decision. Does she go with Gale's plan, or does she follow Rick's plan? She decides to do the latter. With that, she makes her way back into the experiment simulation room. Once there, Rick gets in touch again.
I just cracked into the mother system.
Good work, Rick.
It was nothing. But that's just the beginning. The release code for the hatch automatically rewrites itself periodically. We have access, but we're down to 2 chances to clear it. So let's make sure we get it the first time around. I'm going to force the system to display the release codes. Make sure you enter them exactly as displayed. Let's do it.
Regina needs to enter the code exactly as she sees it on the screen. After a stressful few minutes, Regina is able to do it. With the hatch open, she makes her way down.
Hold it! Dr. Kirk, we've come to help. We're representatives from your nation's government.
My nation? I'm touched. And what do you government agents want with me?
Shut up. You're coming with us if I have to knock you out and drag you back myself.
Well, according to the government, I'm officially deceased, correct?
If that's the way you want it, I'd be more than happy to oblige. So what'll it be, genius?
Relax, Agent. My study is nearing its final stages. Magnificent, isn't it? But I can't leave before I've analyzed the final results.
I don't give spit about your results. I'm taking you back under orders, so shut up and follow me. Regina, locate the communication facility and call in the extraction chopper.
You can't do this! I have rights!
According to command, you're government property, pal. I suggest you take it up with them.
No! They can't do this to me! They deserted me 3 years ago and now they want me back? This is preposterous!
Shut up.
Then shoot me, idiot! You lame, flat-top, jaw-headed...
Shut up. Where's the communication room?
Take the elevator up from the control room.
I need a card to access that elevator. I know you've got one. Hand it over, Doc.
Fine.
So, we're all set then. I'll meet you at the heliport.
Hey, wait, where are you going?
I have a little unfinished business to take care of. I'll drop this guy off with Rick. Now get moving.
Unfinished business?
Now that Regina has Dr. Kirk's card, she makes her way back into the elevator. She heads back to the first floor and heads towards the control room. Once she is there, she uses the keycard to unlock a new elevator. With that done, Regina makes her way to the communication room. In there she finds the antenna activation key. Regina takes it and heads outside. She makes her way around the building and into the communication antenna room. Once there, she uses the antenna activation key. With this done, Regina heads back outside.
Regina, what happened? The emergency lock on the second floor's just been activated.
I'm a bit busy right now. Do something about it.
Don't sweat it. I'll release the lock.
Regina runs for her life, but the T-Rex is keeping up. She shoots at it with her shotgun in the hope that she can finally kill it. With her chance to escape, she heads back into the communication room.
Regina, do you copy?
Finally, a signal.
Signal's weak. Interference. Weird static.
I'll give you the abridged version. Mission complete. Scrub the initial plans and pick us up at the heliport immediately.
The heliport.
This entire island's a bloodbath. The only survivor not on the team is the doctor. I'll give you the details later. Just get back here and pick us up ASAP.
Roger, I'm on my way.
Regina, what's your situation?
The chopper's on its way here.
Great. Don't waste any time. And remember, use the main entrance to get to the heliport.
Regina heads back down. She needs to be quick as the helicopter is on its way. She sprints through the hallways and heads out to the front entrance. Regina will need to do her best to avoid its attacks. After a stressful few minutes, Regina makes it through to the passageway to the helipad. She sprints through the narrow corridors, avoiding the oncoming raptors. However, the door ahead is locked. Regina thinks quickly and heads into the hangar. In there she finds a grenade launcher. She knows this could be useful in her fight to escape. Regina then makes her way down the ladder and pushes her way through the hangar. Once Regina gets through, she goes through the door to the heliport.
You okay, Regina?
Where's Gale?
I don't know. Haven't heard a word from him. What's he doing? Finally. You know, I had a really bad feeling about this mission. All things considered, it could have been a lot worse.
That's odd. Something must have those animals spooked.
T-Rex has destroyed their way off the island. However, Regina needs to deal with the immediate problem, the T-Rex. Rick is trying to find a way to get the elevator working, so she needs to find a way to survive until then. Regina uses the crashed helicopter as a way of avoiding the oncoming T-Rex attacks. To stop the T-Rex attacking, Regina shoots at it, in the hope that she might deter it or even better, kill it. After a nail-biting few minutes, Rick gets the elevator fixed. Regina makes her way inside.
We're screwed! The chopper's history! How are we gonna get out of here?
Calm down. We'll just have to find another way.
Oh, come off it. You're never this positive.
What happened?
Elevator shut. We'll have to find another way.
Their luck does not seem to be improving. Regina needs to avoid their oncoming attacks. She manages to make her way around the materials room. In there she finds the CO pass card. With this new item she heads back to Rick.
You done yet?
What do you mean? Of course. Let's get moving.
So, I think I found a way out of here.
Right on, girl. Let's hear it. Okay, we're here again. Now what?
We should be able to get to the underground port from here.
Yeah. Then let's do it.
Hurry! I'm worried about Gale.
Our fearless leader? Fine. Let's move out.
What happened?
Ah, this piece of junk must have blown a fuse.
What's
going on? The power went out.
Gale, are you on floor B3?
Yeah, get the power online now.
Gale, it looks like there's a port nearby. There's gotta be a ship we can use.
Copy. Leave Kirk to me. You two get the power back online and secure our escape route.
Roger. What the? This battery's completely dead.
Rick gets annoyed because one of the batteries is broken. Regina needs to find a replacement. She heads into the backup generator room B3. Once there, she makes her way through the small passageway. Regina takes it and heads back to Rick.
Perfect. This is all we need to restore the power. I'll work on the security system. You handle our escape route.
Regina needs to find a way for them to escape. She heads into the control room B3, where she's able to grab the B3 crane card 1 and 2. With these new items, Regina heads out of the control room and into the general weapons storage room. Regina will have to fight her way through them. She uses her shotgun and begins firing. After a number of rounds, the dinosaur finally collapses. Regina is able to pick up the B3 crane card 3. However, as she grabs the card, another dinosaur appears. She runs through her life and heads through the general weapons storage shutter. Once there, she climbs up a ladder. This takes her to a crane. She uses all 3 crane cards to operate it. After some trial and error, Regina is able to move the crates around. She is now able to grab the DDK disc next to the dead body she saw earlier. With this new item, she continues on. After fighting her way through a number of dinosaurs, Regina makes her way into the passageway to the experiment area room, where she hears dinosaurs ahead. She pulls her gun out and walks forward. Ahead of her are a number of raptors. Regina fights them off, as it will be impossible to get through the narrow hallways without eliminating them first. After dealing with them, Regina is able to make it to the end of the hallway. She makes her way into the research restroom.
Gale!
Yeah. Well, at least Kirk's running out of places to hide.
That was a very cold conversation with Gale. Regina can't help but think there is something he is not telling her. Despite this concern, Regina gets on with the task at hand. Regina makes her way out of the room. In the hallway, she spots a keycard. She goes over to collect it. Regina grabs the keycard and runs. She doesn't have the firepower to take it on. She escapes into the stabilizer design room. It has followed her. Regina has no choice but to take it on with the ammo that she has left. After a few shots, the dinosaur finally goes down. Regina was able to survive the attack, but she's now running low on ammunition. She makes her way out of the room and heads to the rest station. It is here that she uses the DDK discs to open up a new area. After figuring out the code, Regina makes her way into the disembarkation immigration office. From there, she continues to make her way through the room.
Regina, It looks like this door leads to the port. It'll take a while before I can pop this open.
You copy, Mike? I found the key to the port, but I got a lizard riding on my tail. I'm heading to the main elevator right now. I'll meet it at the ground level. Hurry!
Huh, sounds like we're not the only ones having problems.
I'm glad you're amused. But if that guy gets eaten, we're going to have to retrieve the key from that dinosaur's stomach. You've got to save him.
Regina needs to go and help the guy they heard on the radio before he is eaten by one of the dinosaurs. Regina wastes no time. She begins to make her way over to his location. As she does, she picks up the B2 key chip too. She will now be able to create a new ID. Regina sprints through the hallways and makes her way to the carrying out room B3. Regina is very lucky to be alive. The T-Rex is not dead, it is unconscious, but at least she can stop worrying about it for a while. Regina will need to figure out a way to get inside the elevator. As the generator is now beyond repair, she decides to take the battery with her. With the battery in hand, Regina heads down to the backup generator room B3. Once she is there, Regina inserts the battery into the slot. She then moves the batteries around until they have been fitted into the correct slot. With this now done, she pushes the lever. This seems to get power back online. Regina makes her way back out of the room and into the large-sized elevator. It is here that she is able to pick up the dead man's port card key. They are one step closer to escaping now. Regina also makes sure to get a scan of his fingerprint, as this may be useful later on. Due to her low ammunition, Regina makes her way into the control room, where she uses some plugs to open up an ammunition container. It is here that she is able to stock up. Feeling better equipped, Regina continues on.
Think fast.
Yes! What is that?
I saw something like this in Kirk's personal lab. This could be a problem.
This vortex must be the side effect of the third energy experiment. So how are we supposed to get around this thing?
Either we find a way or we both end up as dino droppings.
Not funny. Okay, I'll pull up any relevant data on the computer. Regina, you search around for any possible clues or leads.
In order for them to get to the port, they will need to deal with the anomaly in the passageway. Regina grabs the DDK disc off the ground and makes her way back into the disembarkation immigration office. Regina then makes her way through the passages and gets to the security pass room. As she does, the alarm is set off. She knows that she needs to find a way to turn it off. The noise could attract more dinosaurs. In the room, Regina finds a B2 chip. She takes it, as she knows it may be useful. She then makes her way over to the control panel. It is here that she is able to turn the alarm off. With the alarm now deactivated, Regina uses the B2 chips to overwrite the magnetic data of the chips. With the chips now overwritten, she makes her way out of the room and uses the DDK discs to open up a new area. This takes her to the parts storage room. With the decontamination finished, Regina makes her way through the narrow passageway and into the experimental room. She then heads through the hallway and enters the stabilizer experiment room. In the room, Regina picks up a DDK disc. She then heads back into the parts storage room and uses the DDK discs to open up a new area. This takes Regina to the third energy area B2.
Rick, I've located the main generator of the third energy.
Great. See if you can activate it.
Regina needs to find a way to activate the generator. She begins making her way around the room. After crossing a bridge, she enters the third energy area control room. In this room are small passageways. Regina heads down them. This takes her to the power frequency room, where she finds a survivor. Unfortunately, they are dying, and she cannot do anything to help them. In the same room, Regina switches the supply destination of the emergency power to the third energy generator. This lifts the emergency lockdown. With that done, she leaves the room and enters the third energy control room. It is here that Regina finds a keycard. She keeps hold of it as it may help her later on. It is in the same room that she finds a console. She tries to activate it, but it is no use. As she messes with the console, she hears a gunshot. It seems to have come from the power frequency room. Regina makes her way inside. The scientist is dead. They have been shot. Next to her is a memo written in blood. Regina needs to find out who did this. She makes her way around the room to see if there are any more clues. Regina has spotted Kirk running through the passageway. It must have been him who shot the scientist, but why would he do that? Regina goes in pursuit of Kirk.
Don't move.
And what do you think you're doing?
Carving a name for myself in history with the ultimate energy source.
Open your eyes, you freak. Your precious creation is nothing more than another weapon to be misused.
You seem to have a small degree of superficial intelligence. It's too bad that it is wasted on one who is about to die.
Rick, our target has been secured. Report here immediately. Sorry to interrupt your lecture, Doc. You were saying?
Yes, I was saying. I discovered how the third energy could affect space if it ran unchecked 3 years ago. I thought that the energy had the ability to transfer selective space to an alternate time-space continuum. But I was incorrect. The space was not transferred, it was exchanged. To put it in terms that even you can understand, third energy has the ability to replace a pocket in space with one from a different time.
What?
Yes. I came to these conclusions following this evening's final experiment. You've seen the effects yourself. Those beasts were occupying the space this facility is located on almost 65 million years ago.
Right. So that's how those dinosaurs appeared in our time.
Precisely. And that is what I have done.
Uh-huh. And how many people were sacrificed before you made this discovery?
Who cares? The numbers are quite irrelevant. Let's just say that there were many. Extraordinary deaths for ordinary men, don't you think?
Spoken like a true devil.
A god or a devil? I don't care about that. Only my experiment.
Enough. Only one thing matters at this point. Your grand invention is blocking our escape.
You need to destroy the vortex. The only way to do that is to allow the generator's third energy levels to overload. Theoretically speaking, the third energy and the vortex will cancel each other out if they come in contact with one another. But there is one small catch. If you cannot stop the generator's third energy overload, this entire region may be shifted to another point in the space-time continuum.
Then we'll just make sure to be somewhere else when the shift happens. No problem.
But we couldn't even activate the device.
You're missing the initializer and stabilizer, right?
Where are they?
Calm down. They should be stored in one of the security level A rooms on floor B3.
Very good, Doc. Now you understand our situation. We live, you live.
Okay, I'm all set to whip up a program that will send a stream of third energy into the vortex.
I'll keep an eye on the doctor. Regina, you go find those devices and overload the third energy. Remember, they're in a security level A room on floor B3.
Hold up. That whole floor is crawling with dinosaurs, including that T-Rex. Let's get this situation under control before charging off. Here, take this. The disk contains the draft plans for the initializer and stabilizer. I stumbled over them while searching through the database. Fortunately, the room where the parts are stored is not far from here. We should gather up the parts and assemble the devices.
Don't be ridiculous. Regina doesn't have the technical knowledge for that. We don't even know if all the right parts are there. We'd be better off simply trying to hunt down the completed devices.
It's too dangerous down there. She won't make it.
It's your call then, Regina. You're the one who has to do this. So what's your choice?
Regina needs to make a decision on how best to approach the situation. She decides to go with Gale's strategy. Regina leaves the room and begins to head back to the parts storage room. On the way, she fights her way through some raptors. After a tough fight through, Regina makes it to the storage room. Regina exits the room and makes her way into the security pass room. Regina goes over to the terminal and uses it to create a new ID card, using Dr. Kurt's registration. With the new ID card in hand, Regina makes her way into the special weapon storage room. In there are a number of dinosaur specimens. She makes her way down the hallway. At the end is a small transport lift. She gets inside and makes her way to the upper floor. Once she is there, Regina is able to grab the initializer and the stabilizer from the storage container. Regina now has what she needs. She just needs to get back to the security pass room. Things will not be easy, however, as there are more dinosaurs. Regina does her best to fight them off. Eventually, she makes it back to the security pass room. From there, Regina continues on through to the third energy control room, making sure to avoid the oncoming dinosaur attacks. Once Regina reaches the control room, she approaches the console. Regina begins to operate it. As she does, the console informs her that she needs to set the initializer and the stabilizer. Regina makes her way across the bridge and walks over to a panel. It is here that she inserts the stabilizer. Now she just needs to insert the initializer. To do that, Regina crosses the bridge and makes her way into a small lift. This takes her down to the third energy area B3. She follows the passage around and comes to another panel. It is here that she inserts the initializer. Now she needs to activate the generator. Regina makes her way to a console. With that done, Regina makes her way back to the stabilizer. Once there, she activates the console there.
Generator has surpassed a safety ground. Third energy movement in progress. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Regina has no idea what has just happened to Gale. For now, she makes her way back to Dr. Kirk's personal lab. Once she makes it there, Regina enters Dr. Kirk's library room.
Gale!
Okay. Just get Kirk. Hurry.
Take it easy, Gale.
No. Take this. Tagged him with transmitter.
Gale. Gale!
All right. The overload levels are increasing. Just a little more. Looking good. Gale, what happened to him?
I don't know, but Kirk's gone.
I'm gonna kill him! This is it. All that's left is our escape. Let's go.
Wait, what about Kirk?
What about him? It's a miracle we're still alive at this point. Forget about him.
Don't forget the mission. You're not here to babysit.
Sorry, but I have a conscience. I'm taking you back, now.
No. You two get going. I'm going after Kirk.
What? You're insane! Don't you remember our situation? The third energy can't be controlled anymore. Staying here any longer is suicide!
I know. If I'm not back in 30 minutes, you two make your escape without me.
Hey! Do something!
Regina needs to make a decision. Rick wants to forget the mission and just get out of there. Gale wants to continue the mission and go after Kirk.
Gale!
Thanks. That GI joke deserved it. Come on.
Regina enters the underground heliport room.
Regina, what are you doing? Answer me! What have you been doing? The hovercraft's just being destroyed by the T-Rex.
I caught the doctor, Rick. There's a chopper over here we can use to escape.
Oh, great. I'm heading over now.
Good. I'll pick you up ASAP. Hurry!
Regina has managed to help Gale complete the mission. However, Rick has informed them that the T-Rex is after him. Regina heads back to help Rick out.
That T-Rex is right behind us. We gotta move fast!
Let's go! Rick, faster! Rick, now!
Regina needs to hold the T-Rex back until they can get to the helicopter. She uses whatever firepower she has left to fend it off. The T-Rex attacks her a number of times. Regina makes sure to shoot at it whenever it gets too close. After a terrifying few minutes, they finally arrive at the helicopter.
That dinosaur just doesn't give up!
The team have done it. They have captured Dr. Kirk and are on their way back. For now, at least, their nightmare is over. Dino Crisis uses a lot of fixed camera angles and tank controls, the exact same system you see in Capcom's Resident Evil series. There are two big differences, however. In Dino Crisis, Capcom also implements some moving cameras. This creates a cinematic feel to the game. It can also add to the horror, as it can seem as if something is watching you and will jump out at any minute. The second big difference is that Regina is able to move and aim at the same time. This is something you cannot do in Resident Evil, as shocking as it sounds. This really helps you to deal with the faster moving dinosaurs. In Dino Crisis, item boxes have been replaced with plug boxes. These can be found throughout the game, and the player can use them to stock up on ammunition or medical equipment. In order to access these boxes, players must use plugs that can be found throughout the game. Saving is slightly different as well, and you could argue it is slightly harder. Unlike Resident Evil's ink ribbons, in Dino Crisis you can save as many times as you want, but there is a catch. There are not that many save points. This means that you often have to backtrack in order to save throughout the game. I found this quite difficult early on, as you expect there to be more save points. You figure out very quickly that you will need to travel far sometimes just to save. This is made up for with the resuscitations you can find throughout the game. These allow you to respawn with all your health and ammo if you die at any point during the game. However, you only have so many. The gameplay for me is a huge upgrade compared to other games Capcom had produced at the time. The dinosaurs in Dino Crisis still possess a huge challenge, despite the fact that the developers were hindered by the technology at the time. Despite the upgrades in technology we have today, I think the dinosaur designs hold up really well. The sound that each dinosaur makes has also aged very well, with each noise still creating as much horror as it did when the game first released. The developers used AI that was based on carnivorous predators, such as lions and tigers, in order to make the dinosaurs unafraid of humans. This meant that throughout the game, the dinosaurs were not afraid of Regina, even when they were being shot at, making the dinosaur threat even more terrifying. There are a number of different dinosaurs that players will have to deal with throughout the game. These are Velociraptors, Compsognathus, Pteranodons, Theriznosaurus, Blue Raptors, and of course the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The base enemy is of course the Raptors. Despite the Raptors basically being the equivalent of Resident Evil zombies, they are much harder to take down. This is a terrifying reality of the game. There are no easy enemies. To make matters worse, Dino Crisis uses respawns, which means raptors will keep returning no matter how many times you kill them. So you may be thinking to yourself that the best course of action is to just run, right? Well, as you have seen from the story breakdown, raptors are able to jump over fences and open doors. This makes avoiding them that much harder. Running away from them into a different room doesn't deal with the problem. This creates a tension throughout the game that just doesn't seem to go away. You really do feel as if the dinosaurs are predators and you are the prey. This is why I believe that the game was ahead of its time. Raptors are also able to knock Regina's gun out of her hand. This makes the gameplay that little bit more challenging. In order to get the gun back, players must get over to it and pick it up. This can sometimes be the difference between surviving and dying. As a result, players need to be very careful about aiming when they are close to a dinosaur. This really helps add to the horror of the game, and can be quite terrifying when it first happens to you. Another detail to discuss are the danger sections you will come across. Throughout the game, the player will have to deal with danger events. These happen during cutscenes in which Regina is attacked by dinosaurs. This is one example that showed just how Dino Crisis was ahead of its time. The danger events are very much like QuickTime events that you can see in a lot of games today. The player must deal with these by mashing the buttons on the controller. They are not too difficult to complete, but if you do nothing, it could result in Regina being killed. The dinosaurs in Dino Crisis truly were a great adversary. I only wish we got to see the true vision of them, although I probably would have ended up dying a lot more if that was the case. At multiple times in the game, players will get the choice to side with Rick or Gale. These branching paths make the game worth playing a number of times. In fact, in one playthrough, you get to find out what the real reason the team was sent there for.
And you know how this country has always been famous for developing new weapons in secret. Our government knew that there was a new weapon, and they wanted it. Our real mission was to ascertain all information on the weapon, so that only our country can exploit it. Dr. Kirk's just a bonus.
These branching paths can really help change the course of the game, and often let the player decide what they would do in the situation. For example, are you someone who believes that the mission comes first? If so, then side with Gale. If you believe that the survival of the team is the most important thing, then side with Rick. As a result, the choices for me are not just choice decisions you have to make, they are a great way of also helping you decide what type of person you are. Just as with Resident Evil, Dino Crisis has a number of puzzles. I actually think that if you have only played Resident Evil and no other survival horrors, Dino Crisis might be a bit of a shock for you. I only say this as I believe the puzzles in Dino Crisis are a lot harder, and they seem to get more difficult as the game goes on. I think a great example of this are the DDK discs. Players need to find 2 discs that match, such as 2 DDK discs with the letter L. Players then need to find the correct password. These passwords get more complex as you continue on in the game. Another great example is the use of the FC scanner. Players will find a number of bodies throughout the game. It is up to you to scan certain bodies' fingerprints and then find their ID cards just so you can progress further into the game by opening up new areas. This can be very difficult to deal with when you first start playing Dino Crisis, and perhaps for some it can be too much. As I have stated in the past, I love puzzles in games, so for me I really enjoyed them. They really help add to the stress of this game, as you may spend a lot of your time running around trying to figure out what to do next. If you combine this with the respawning dinosaurs, it could result in you dying a number of times. Overall, Dino Crisis is a great survival horror game. Compared to many of the games that came out on the PS1, I would argue that Dino Crisis might just be the best looking one. The character designs still look great, and the dinosaurs hold up very well all things considered. The environments, despite the initial limitations, look great. It is unfortunate about the limitations, as the facility can feel a little dull sometimes, especially as the colour for the most part is quite grey. The cutscene at the beginning of the game makes you want to explore outside of the facility more, but we have already discussed that Capcom's decision to go with a 3D real-time engine made that impossible. The sound quality is also amazing, with the music and dinosaur effects really standing out for me. The sound really helps add to the tense atmosphere felt throughout Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis truly is an amazing survival horror game that showed Capcom were capable of creating a successful horror separate to Resident Evil. Despite Dino Crisis being labelled as a panic horror, I would argue that instead this game is a true survival horror, even more so than Resident Evil. The developers did the best with what they had despite the limitations at the time. My hope is that Capcom decide to greenlight a remake of this game, as the advancements in technology could help Mikami's original vision become a reality. Thank you so much for watching the video. I just wanted to give a massive thanks to everyone who has supported the channel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Capcom games are a real nostalgia trip for me, and I'm so glad to see so many who share that. Please let me know your thoughts on Dino Crisis or any other video game in the comments section below, and thanks again for all the support.